Blue shirt at Walmart. Must be management, so I'll hit him with my cart. I was in a blue shirt, tan tie and nice tan slacks and had to stop at Walmart to buy a router for a little office I was helping start up. Lady comes around the corner and stops. I move up as I'm trying to get out of the way but also find the router I need, but she doesn't go past and keeps inching her cart at me until it bumps me. I turned around and looked at her confused and she snaps, "Well, aren't you going to help me or what?" Still confused, I'm like, "Sorry, what now?" So she repeated it, even more upset and gesturing to other customers to show me up. So now I've got 4 angry-looking middle-aged people glaring at me when I said, "I don't work here, lady." She looks confused but doesn't let up and questions me again. "I don't work here." I was trying to buy something when you nudged me with your cart. It was like I'd thrown water on her. Her 3 comrades quickly moved on and she was like, "Well, you're in a blue shirt, so I don't know what you thought I was supposed to think." Yep, my fault for wearing a blue shirt to Walmart. "Do you have that bikini in this size?" I was shopping a month ago for new bathing suits with my daughters, and as my 14-year-old was looking at one she was contemplating buying, a fellow shopper walks over and asks her, "Yes, miss, hi, over here." My daughter looks over and the woman says, "Do you have that exact bathing suit in my size?" My daughter looks older for her age and says, "I'm sorry, I don't work here, so I wouldn't know." The woman sees no name tag or employee lanyard with worker ID on my daughter. Then, according to my daughter, she said the woman instantly blushes and tells her, "Whoops, sorry about that." This makes me happy the woman didn't continue to try to push her thought that my daughter was an employee. We've had other encounters at other stalls where any of my daughters have been mistaken for employees and dealt with Karens continuing to push their wool on my daughters just because they didn't see any identification of employment on my daughters. This one was more a calmer approach that the woman quickly realized her mistake. Wearing purple in Home Depot. I must work there. I was walking through the HT today, headed towards the registers with my purchase. I had a new toilet on one of those flatbed cots. I also had some gardening items and a few random items. Hubby was walking behind me because it's easier to navigate the aisles that way. I'm walking with purpose towards the registers, obviously looking like a customer. Purple t-shirt, crossbody purse, hair in a ponytail, sunglasses perched on my head. Not a drop of orange on me. This lady turns around and asks, "Where are all of your gloves in size small? I can't wear these larger sizes." I stop and tell her I don't work here, but I take a moment to look. No size small on the shelves. I tell her she might want to ask an employee. She asks me to call my manager. I repeat it again, "Ma'am, I don't work here. I'm a customer, just like you." She finally looks at me and says that I look like I should work there. I deadpan that that doesn't sound like a compliment. Apparently that's what snaps her out of her thinking I work there. She gushes it was a compliment and that if I did work there, she'd tell my manager how helpful I was. Thankfully, someone in an orange apron walked down the aisle and I waved him over. Enough people for me today. As we're checking out, my husband asks if I'm changing careers with a smirk. Good guy, good story, by user striking Sitmanus 4615. A big box home improvement store and I am wandering around, clueless. I am a short, round little old lady with 2 new knees and bad eyesight. I can't find the drill bit I need, so this really competent looking guy is in their vicinity. "Hey, I am old, not blind or dead. One handsome man. Anyway," I said, "I know you don't work here, but can you help me find a drill bit for ceramics?" It was for a flower pot. And this cute guy gives me a big smile and says, "I don't work here, but I probably know more about the stock than the guys who do." We laugh. He goes directly to the drill bit. Too bad I am old. He had potential. If I were 40 years younger, I would eat him up. Watch Where You Stand by user James Vermeer. No drama, no excitement, just an embarrassment for someone who considers himself a reasonably intelligent person, me. I was at the Musée d'Orsay in Paris recently. I had picked up an audio guide that was on a lanyard around my neck and was standing idly waiting for my wife to return from the ladies' bathroom queue, which statistics dictate is always longer than the gents. Before long, I was accosted by an obviously American lady. I say obviously because of her accent, but she was actually nice and soft-spoken. An anti-Karen, if you will. It was a good thing she spoke English, though, because my French is terrible. She quote, "Excuse me, where can I find a map?" My brain subconsciously detoured around the obvious response of "I don't work here, lady," and came up with "I'm terribly sorry, but I have no idea, I'm just a tourist." Yes, I did say the words "I'm just a tourist," and yes, I really had no idea just then, although we found a map this later. She apologized, and I dearly wished that she'd said "I saw you standing there," because the Beatles reference would have been excellent, but in reality she said something like "I just thought because you were standing there." And when I looked round, behold, I was standing next to a sign that said information and an arrow pointing directly at me.